Have you heard the latest news? The FAA has officially approved Falcon 9's return after a 2-week hiatus. SpaceX provided crucial updates on the causes of the failure and their corrective actions. Meanwhile, NASA's latest update reveals that Boeing Starliner still lacks a return date. For those of us used to Falcon 9's frequent launches, the past 2 weeks might have felt like a bit of a letdown. But here's the good news. That downtime is over. The FAA has officially cleared Falcon 9 to get back to action. After a thorough review, they determined that no public safety issues were involved in the anomaly during the SpaceX Starlink Group 9. 3 launch on July 11th. This green light allows Falcon 9 to resume flight operations while the overall investigation continues. This is fantastic news for SpaceX, especially after a delay that seemed long, given Falcon 9's usual launch frequency. It's also worth noting how quickly the FAA handled this situation compared to other rockets or organizations. So, why the fast turnaround? Right after the incident, SpaceX's team jumped into action, investigating the failure, analyzing the data, and promptly submitting their findings to the FAA with a request to resume flights. SpaceX's agility in addressing and resolving the problem is unmatched. As they stated on their X page, thanks to the pace we've been able to launch, we're able to gather unprecedented levels of flight data and are poised to rapidly return to flight as soon as Saturday, July 27th. We can't overstate the importance of the Falcon 9. The FAA's efficient handling of the procedures underscores how critical this rocket is to the U.S. aerospace industry. Without Falcon 9 launches, the entire sector faced significant disruptions, with plans stalling and competitors, especially China, rapidly advancing. Restoring Falcon 9's flight capability as soon as possible is crucial. The U.S. aerospace industry remains heavily reliant on Falcon 9, and it will continue to be the cornerstone of the industry for many years to come. So, what went wrong? SpaceX shared detailed findings with the FAA on their homepage. The report reveals that the first stage of Falcon 9 performed flawlessly. From liftoff and stage separation to landing on the drone ship. However, during the initial burn of Falcon 9's second stage engine, a liquid oxygen leak occurred within the insulation around the upper stage engine. This leak was traced back to a crack in a pressure sensor line connected to the oxygen system, caused by fatigue from engine vibration and a loose clamp. Despite the leak, the second stage engine managed to operate throughout the first burn and completed its shutdown, allowing the mission to proceed into the intended elliptical parking orbit. A second burn of the upper stage engine was intended to circularize the orbit before deploying the satellites. However, the liquid oxygen leak led to excessive cooling of critical engine components, particularly those responsible for delivering ignition fluid to the engine. This caused the engine to experience a hard start instead of a controlled burn, damaging the hardware and resulting in the loss of attitude control. Despite these issues, the second stage continued to operate as intended, successfully deploying the Starlink satellites and completing stage passivation, a process of venting stored energy at the end of each Falcon mission. After the issue arose, SpaceX attempted to raise the altitude of 10 out of 20 satellites by sending burn commands. However, high drag at a periapsis of 135 kilometers above Earth caused this effort to fail, leading all 20 satellites to re-enter the atmosphere. SpaceX assured that the satellites would fully demise upon re-entry, eliminating any threat to public safety. Indeed, no debris was reported after the satellite deorbited. To fix these issues, SpaceX announced plans for a comprehensive review of all vehicles and ground systems in preparation for the return flight. They will remove the failed sensor line and sensor on the second stage engine. SpaceX noted that this sensor, not used by the flight safety system, can be covered by alternate sensors already on the engine. The design change has been tested at SpaceX's McGregor, Texas facility, with enhanced qualification analysis and oversight by the FAA and involvement from the SpaceX investigation team. Additionally, a proactive replacement of select sensor lines and clamps on the active booster fleet will be carried out following an extra qualification review, inspection, and scrub. Looking ahead, SpaceX plans to conduct the next flight on July 27th. This flight will launch a mission called Starlink 10, for sending 23 satellites into orbit. They recently rolled out the fairing for this mission to the launch complex. Additionally, a static fire with the rocket was conducted on the night of July 25th. This 10-second test recorded no issues, indicating that everything is ready for the upcoming launch. The upcoming mission will be SpaceX's 70th of the year, marking a crucial step toward their goal of 148 flights. This return flight is pivotal, signaling the acceleration phase for the rest of the year. So please send your best wishes to the SpaceX team and Falcon 9 by replying Space 9 in the comment section. And don't forget to like the video, share it, and also subscribe to our channel to continue following SpaceX's development journey. Now let's move to the Starliner mission updates. After some troubleshooting in a web page update and the July 25th media briefing, NASA and Boeing confirmed that ground testing of a reaction control system, or RCS thruster, was completed and disassembly and inspections concluded. Next, the Starliner team is reviewing data that will aid in future missions and pave the way for NASA astronauts Butch Wilmore and Suni Williams to return to Earth. A landing date for Starliner's crew flight test will be scheduled following the flight test readiness review, planned for later or next week. While landing opportunities are available throughout August, and although August has been set as a return schedule, neither agency has yet confirmed a specific date. This is a huge disappointment after a long time spent fixing the problem. Remember, since the launch on June 5th, Starliner has been on the ISS for more than 50 days, but its battery can only last for 45 days in space. Although Steve Stitch, manager of NASA's Commercial Crew Program, said the limit has been pushed to 90 days. That cannot reduce the concerns, but they still show optimism. The update said testing of the RCS thruster at NASA's White Sands Test Facility in New Mexico resulted in meaningful findings for root cause assessments and to finalize flight rationale in support of a nominal undock and landing. Mark Nappy, Starliner Program Manager and Vice President, said, "I'm very confident we have a good vehicle to bring the crew back with. Our mission was to get the crew to the ISS, and that's been completed. Our mission was to learn from a flight test. A lot of the learning that we've achieved so far, really, in my opinion, could only be achieved through the flight test. And now it's time to get on with returning the crew safely." As for the upcoming roadmap, both sides said the Starliner team plans to hot-fire 27 of 28 RCS thrusters this weekend while safely docked to the space station. The purpose of this is to verify the performance of thrusters similar to what would be done during future missions. In the media briefing, they mentioned that the test showed more pulse than actual flight thruster, and noted degradation on this thruster, raising concerns about the return journey. Additionally, the update stated the team also wants another helium leak data point, which has remained stable since the spacecraft's arrival at the station on June 6th. The helium system has been closed for most of the time while docked to the station, so no helium is leaking in that configuration. Given the time required to analyze data from the failures, we may have to wait for the CFT-1 mission's return to answer these questions. Don't forget to hit that like button, smash subscribe for more jaw-dropping space updates, and join us as we embark on a cosmic journey like never before.